Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another card video at my YouTube channel. My regular camera that I usually film on is not turning on. So you get this intro using my iPhone. So anyway, hope you guys are enjoying this challenge. I know a lot of you are picking up the challenge and trying it yourself for this month, which I think is amazing and awesome. And I wish you all the best. Today I'm going to be doing some more kind of fun stuff with those little mini ink cubes from Concord and Ninth. I'm going to be doing some direct to paper, but with stencils. I've never done this before, so it's going to be really fun. So I actually ended up with 4 cards. It was too fun. I couldn't stop with just one. So let's get into it. So here's that stencil that I couldn't show you in my last video. This is the Layering Rainbow Stencil from Simon Says Stamp. This is from their brand new release. It's available over at their shop, and I'm going to be using both of these stencils today. This is kind of like a 2-for-1 since there's 2 stencils in the pack, and I'm going to start out with this cloud shape. In order to tape down my paper, I'm going to remove some of the tackiness on my tape by putting it on my hand. That just makes it so it's not going to tear the paper later when I remove it. Placing my stencil right over the top and then holding that down with some tape. I'm going to be using the ink cubes from Concord and Ninth that are included in my capsule box for the month. Starting out with the color Poppy, and I'm just doing a direct to paper technique where I'm kind of dragging the ink pad onto the paper. Technically, it's starting on the stencil and then dragging onto the paper. I then used Marmalade and Buttercup, followed by Parsley and Oceanside. This is going to give me a kind of an abstract look. I really wanted to try this look again after doing my first card on Wednesday. I loved that abstract look with, like, you could see the edges of the ink pad a little bit. And so that's sort of what I'm going for today. So I cleaned off the stencil with the baby wipe and I thought, oh, there's quite a bit of ink left on the edge of the stencil. I could probably do something with that. So I'm going to do a second layer of the regular ink dragging. And then I'm going to use the leftover ink for a second card front, and you'll see that in a minute. I'm repeating the same colors again, just so it has a continuous color pattern going all the way across the card front. So I've got the same 5 colors used. And I'm making sure I kind of overlap the colors as I apply them. So after I lift up the stencil on this one, I'm not going to clean it off right away. Instead, I'm going to put another piece of white cardstock down, position that stencil again, and then with a dry paper towel, I'm just wiping the colors off. Now I'm rotating my paper towel so the colors don't mix too much, because you'll notice on the side over there with the baby wipe version, the colors mixed and you got that red kind of in the center. I didn't want that to happen on this actual card front, so I did kind of rotate my paper towel. All right, moving on to the rainbow portions of the stencil. I'm using this kind of rainbow builder. I'm going to use the same colors again with the addition. Actually, I don't think there is a purple on this one. It's just those same 5. And I'm going to be moving my paper underneath the stencil so I can continue having it kind of taped down. By the way, I taped the stencil down with some masking paper. I just cut the masking paper into some thinner strips so that I could use them. And after I had this first one done in the poppy color, I realized I didn't need to mask off the next rainbow segment down, that these ink cubes were small enough that I could almost use them like a paintbrush, and I had enough precision that I didn't need to mask off those areas as much. It was just easier to not worry about that. So now I'm moving on to Marmalade, using the same colors as I did before. And I'm not trying to get a perfect shape from the stencil. I want there to be some missing edges and some darker areas. So I'm not being too precise. This is a really great project for those of you who like things a little bit messy, because this really lends itself to that messy look. Moving on to Buttercup and Parsley. And then I'm going to finish off with Oceanside, and I'm going to have a really cool looking rainbow here. This might be my favorite of the bunch. I'm not entirely sure which is my favorite actually, but I'll lift this stencil up and you can see this rainbow underneath. Now I was left with quite a few little spots of ink smudging, so I will eventually trim this down for the final card front.
For my fourth card idea, I decided to use that sort of segment of a rainbow, the corner rainbow that's on the stencil. Started out with ballet slipper, and I'm kind of just applying it across. Then I brought in honeysuckle. This is going to be sort of like a pink to purple to red kind of color scheme. So there's honeysuckle. Then brought in poppy, going again for that kind of brushstroke abstract look. And then I finished off with eggplant. All right, so this eggplant is quite dark. It really intensifies the color on this rainbow shape. And after I had one corner done, I thought it looked really cool, but it needed something else. So I decided to rotate my card front and put that rainbow shape in the opposite corner. So I did the exact same thing in the opposite corner with the same positioning of the colors. And I'm going to leave my background like this while I finish off the card design, but I will come back and do a little bit more stenciling in a bit. All right, so now I'm going to put all 4 of these cards, I'm going to put greetings on them and finish them off. So the first one that I'm going to finish is that very faded one where it had that ink dragging off the stencil. I'm going to be using the stamp set. This is to the Stronger Together. It was in the wrong stamp sleeve. This is the Stronger Together stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm going to be stamping this greeting in a light gray ink. Now you could do black, but I thought it was such a delicate color for that edge of the clouds. I thought having a lighter gray would be really great. Kind of keep the whole card very soft. So this is Dove from Concord and Ninth. And I love how this turned out. It's stamped really, really well. I wanted to kind of experiment with stamping with these inks using some text stamps, and this worked out great. My next card front was the really colorful one, and I'm going to use the stamp set from CZ Design. I'm going to stamp the large hello in VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and then I'm going to position the smaller greeting right underneath. So it says, "Hello, birthday girl." This finishes off the card. Super simple. These cards are easy to create, easy to replicate, and duplicate if you want to as well. This other card, like I mentioned before, I did trim it down because I had some ink smudges that were really bugging me. So I trimmed it square. And then I'm going to use a couple of greetings from the Greetings Mix 2 set from Simon Says Stamp. And I actually paired 2 of the greetings together. So it says, "Wishing you a beautiful day." And I'm going to be stamping both of these together in that same VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And this keeps it really, really simple. I love kind of the artistic look of that rainbow and how it turned out. For my last card fronts, you'll remember it was the one with the 2 corner rainbows. I'm going to first stamp my greeting. This is another greeting from that Greetings Mix 2 stamp set. I'll stamp that in the same Onyx Black ink. And after I had that greeting on there, I thought, you know what, this looks really empty in that bottom corner. And I have a little ink smudge. So I covered it up by putting a 3rd rainbow corner. Same coloring pattern, just switched to which color was at the bottom edge. I wanted that pink there so the purples didn't overlap. So that is the 4th and final card design. The only thing I had left to do is to mount these onto some card bases. The square card, I put it on a 5x5 card base since it was 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And this card base is made out of some black cardstock from Concord and Ninth. I just used the black out of that assorted cardstock pack. And then the other 3 cards, I put some Tombow Extreme adhesive on the back of each stamped panel and put it directly onto my card base. This card base is made out of some Neenah Solar White 110-pound cardstock. And that finished up all 4 cards. All 4 of these cards, I made them in about 35 minutes. It was super fast. I hope you guys try this out. I love how they turned out. It's so colorful. I can't quite decide which is my favorite. It might be the full rainbow or it might be the clouds. I'm not entirely sure.
Thanks so much for watching today's video. Let me know down in the comments which of those 4 cards was your favorite. Which one do you want to try? I think there's a lot of fun things you can do with that particular technique, and I hope you guys give it a try. Thanks so much for watching today. I will see you guys in another video very soon.